Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream. It's been a long week, certainly. I have had probably the worst case of lack of sleep in an age. An actual fucking age, let me tell you. So, to say I'm feeling better today would be an understatement, and I'm quite excited to get us through the rest of this test material. Now, for those of you that weren't there last time, Daggerheart is a tabletop RPG made by Matthew Mercer and co. So that's Matt Muercer, some of the people from Critical Role, and a few other individuals over on Dragonheart Nexus, I believe, who have produced are producing a new tabletop RPG. And it takes a lot of inspirations from Cities of Mist, bit of 4th edition, and a few other little things, Blades in the Dark, and a few other little systems. I went through the classes and some of the other intro stuff last time, and I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. So, to say I'm looking forward to this, would be putting it short. So I'm going to flick over to our other screen. For anyone watching, please do let me know if this is a bit too zoomed out. I will do my best to zoom it in for you as much as I can where needed. So please just give me a nudge if you think, hey, it's a bit small, boss. Hopefully my audio is sounding a-okay. Let me just do a quick little mic check on the properties. Just gonna check that. Excellent. That's sounding quite nice. Alright, there we go. So, let's head over to the ancestries section, because that's where we were. We finished up the classes. Please do feel free to go through the VOD if you want to hear my thoughts on the classes. My general thoughts, I mostly like them. I really like the, what was it called? Is it the warrior? The warrior. I really like the warrior. The ranger has one of the cutest subclasses ever with their little buddy. The druid is one of the best druids I've seen in a TTRPG as far as wild shapes are concerned and simplicity. And they're all just pretty nice. The rogue's pretty cool too. They're all pretty nice, generally. Now, ancestry. We're going to look at the ancestry. There's a lot here. There's even mixed ancestry, which is actually quite rare. What I mean that is, like, a half-elf's kind of like its own thing, so I'll be interested to see what, like, I don't know, half-demon, half-dwarf, for example. But let's just get into the ancestry real quick, and what this means as far as, you know, what you are. So ancestry represent the lineage of a character that affects their physical attributes. That being said, any character might also possess characteristics that do not fall under what is the standard or average within ancestry. Each individual within ancestry may also view the world from a different perspective. For example, one elf may believe they have quite large ears in relation to their siblings, but a furbolg could find them proportionally small in comparison to their own. That's a very specific example, but you get the point, right? They'll have perhaps a different perspective of the world for various reasons or another. A lot of some of your physical appearance, and likely some traits as well. And another ancestry feature, a unique moves or set of moves that are generated granted to them by their ancestry and can be utilised in play. Some spells or abilities that have been activated during a session, while others are passive bonuses or unique downtime activities. So you can combine them, and we'll get to that later. Let's start off with one of the ones I think is quite cool, the Clank. I quite like a mechanical kind of race when it's an option, and these are one of them. Clanks are sentient mechanical beings built from such materials as metal, wood, stone, and clay. To resemble humanoids, animals, or even inanimate objects, like organic beings. Their bodies come in a wide variety of sizes and may change and adapt based on the time and need. Because of their custom construction, many clanks have highly specialized physical features. Examples include clawed hands for grasping, wheels for movement, or built-in weaponry. So essentially, a clank can have a lot of customization options, and actually here they provide us with a nice little set of drawings of various clanks. I'm going to zoom in real quick for you. So we have like this bard style clank here, there's a centaur clank, gladiator, a wizard with various floating components, a more hunched, sort of disheveled looking clank, a little miner, a chef, a dancer with blades built into them, some kind of prophet. That looks quite cool. I like that a lot. A little barrel boy, something more demonic, a Roman soldier, a druid, also more wizardy, a frog-based one, and this quite a Persian immortal, I want to say. What that reminds me of. A few more pictures here as well of various bits and bobs that they can have. So they're quite unique. A friend of mine actually, who's making his own setting, has a mechanical race in that as well. So I know he's definitely looking at various things he can do with them, like magic items that you can integrate into your body, for example, with them. I think they're quite cool. This is another nice example that him and others could take for use on their own, or just use in this game as well. I mean, they seem quite developed. Their feature is purposeful design. Decide who you were created by and for what purpose. That I like, because I feel like it's often forgotten that a lot of mechanical things were built, right? Well, most, if not all, mechanical are built by something, right? It's just, it's in this, obviously the fantasy setting, you could have a mechanical thing that's not built by someone, right? It was just born, like the gods just. But I feel like it's safe to say if it's mechanical, it was built by someone. and quite often built by mortal hand. Could be divine, but most likely mortal hand. You generate your experience at character creation. Choose one that reflects this purpose and add a +1 to it. Okay, so you can when you do it, sorry. So you can actually pick a bonus to that experience. That experience is important because it can come up in play. And you can boost your chances of getting various rolls because of it. Now, obviously with Clanks here, they seem like there's a lot of variety with them. This is definitely you're not sure what you want to look like, but you have like some of ideas. Okay, you can look like anything, pretty much, with these. And if anything, you can use the purpose to guide you, right? Are they made for war? Are they made for building things? Are they a brewer? Are they a chef? Are they an entertainer? Are they a bodyguard? You know, are they a maid? You know, what was their purpose, and what is their purpose now? Depending on how you want to run your setting, these guys may have only just become sentient, or they always were. Maybe yours is an exception to the rule. Maybe it's one of the many. They're definitely an interesting bunch, and I think, honestly, it's a cool idea, and there's a lot of options, and it's really come up with a lot of variety here, which I quite like. There's a lot of nice, unique concepts, and I think all of these could work. Any of these could be a Clank. Now then, the Demon. The Demon, from what I can tell, is this setting's Tiefling. Everyone likes a Tiefling equivalent. Can't blame them. So, the Demon. Those of demon ancestry are humanoid descendants of the fallen gods. This is another hint at their setting that isn't quite finished for this. Who possess sharp canines, pointed ears, and horns that come to live in a variety of styles. So they come in a variety of styles. While some demon horns resemble that of goat or ram, others bear the shape of a piercing spike. There is no standard number of horns for demons, though 2 or 4 are quite common, and some will have crowns of many horns, or only 1. They may also grow asymmetrically, forming unique shapes that demons are known to enhance with carving and ornamentation. Their skin, hair, and horns come in assortment and stark, vibrant colours such as rosy scarlet, deep purple, and pitch black. On average, demons range with a height of 5 to 7 foot, and known to have long fingernails and pointed long fingers and pointed nails. So, Tiefling, in all honesty, that's kind of what I'm thinking immediately. Here's a few concepts they've got here. I think again, much like with Tiefling, there's a lot of options here. It's almost like unified horn in the middle. Whether that's just like long, like big bony growth. Actually, quite a cool design. Actually, I quite like that. That would work nicely for a cleric or some kind of holy figure, or someone blessed like a divine soul sorcerer kind of thing. I like that a lot, actually. One of my favourites, I think. And here's a few coloured in ones. Again, a bit further in through the concept. They have 2 ancestry features, whereas the Clank, I believe, only had the 1. Yeah, these get 2. They get Fearless. When you roll with fear, you may choose to mark a success instead of the GM gaining fear. That's actually quite interesting, because one of the wizard subclasses lets you pick roll with fear later on. So not only could you roll with fear, but you mark it as a success. You don't have to go wizard. None of these have to, but I will say, if you want to maximize your ability to not give the GM any fear dice, this is a good one to go with. And it just says when you roll with fear. So any time you roll with fear, you get a success, the GM does not. That means when you purposefully give yourself fear, the GM does not get that fear. So you get all the bonuses and all the downsides. So a War Wizard, one of these, is actually a really good idea. Because the War Wizards, specifically, can later on decide, yes, I want to roll with fear. Why? They do more damage then. You can make that happen, and then the GM gains nothing from it. Because if you remember the GM in this, the more fear tokens they get, the more things they can do. Normally fear turns to complications, right? If you can succeed on something but have fear with it, or you could really badly fail something because of rolled with fear. This actually marks a success instead. Mark a stress, sorry, instead. So it's not a success, so it's a stress. I misread that, my apologies. But still, marking a stress could save you here. Now, obviously, if you keep marking stress, you'll hurt yourself, so you have to, like, be careful. But the fact you can take that burden on and deny the GM a roll is interesting, and I think one to look at there. Dread Visage. You have advantage on rolls to intimidate other non-demon creatures. Yeah, I mean, that's just a nice bonus to have, right? This is a nice bonus, I'd say. Can't say anything bad about that. The Dracona. The Dracona resemble wingless dragons in humanoid form and possess a powerful elemental breath. So these are Dragonborn. Flat out is Dragonborn. The Dracona have thick scales and provide excellent natural armor. Okay. It's both forces of natural attacks, nature and attacks. They are large in size, ranging from 5 to 7 foot, on average, with equally large and naturally sharp teeth. Dracona teeth are perpetually regrown, and members of this ancestry are never in danger of permanently losing their incisor. Unlike their dragon ancestors, Dracona do not possess wings and cannot fly without a magical aid. Members of this ancestry each possess elemental breath, the type of which is passed down through generations of each Dracona family. So that's actually quite interesting that you could have like this, almost, I guess, how to describe it really. There's a lot of variance what they're going with the designs for these, but you could have like this very like kept family lineage, right? Like almost this, oh, this family breathe fire. We only pair with fire-breathing Dracona. You know, you could really do a bit of that, like sorcerer bloodline kind of thing, but with breaths. This is with the more, if I zoom in a bit here, this is the more draconic kind of looking. Personally, this is the look I prefer for these guys, from how it's described. These are okay. I don't hate them, but this looks a bit too close to the demon or tiefling aesthetic, I think. Like, I guess this would be good for like a half breed, so half species of them. But I think the more draconic look fits better for what they're going with, right? Some of these look a bit too tiefling demon. This, I think, is what they should go for. But that's just my opinion. You could go wherever the hell you want. I don't care. I don't play a game. I don't like forcing you to play a certain way. These work too. Maybe a bit too monstrous, I don't know. But definitely this guy could work quite nicely. I feel like this first batch here was a good set, but again, play what you like. You might prefer this, you might prefer this, you know, go with that. Elemental Breath. I mean, I don't know, this is all the final designs for them, but I reckon they'll go with this more optional look for things, and have a lot of variety of artworks to depict them. I wouldn't mind that, honestly. Especially for the clanks, that feels like that's the point of them. Anyway, at character creation, choose one of the following elements to describe your elemental breath. Fire, ice, lightning, poison, acid. Spend a hope to make an instinct roll using your breath against an enemy or group of enemies in close range. Deal d8 magic damage to all enemies that you succeed against. So you just get a breath weapon. And that's a nice little bonus. It mentions natural armor, and I felt like that was implying they'd be a bit thicker. So maybe the crunch isn't really matching the fluff to me, but maybe that's just me. But it mentions they have natural armor. Yeah, excellent natural armor. Not reflected in the rules, perhaps. That's my only grumble there. Don't highlight the natural armor of the scales if you're not gonna, like, have it be something they can use. Like, if they had, like, feet, if there's a feat system, I don't think there's a feat system in this, but if there's a feat system, and some are tied to, like, what ancestry you are, maybe? I don't know. Something, excuse me, something to think about. But otherwise, I quite like them. Dwarves are most easily recognised as short humanoids with square features, dense musculature, and thick hair. Their average height is from 4 to 5.5 feet to 5'1.5" They are often quite broad in proportion to their stature due to the high amount of creatine in their skin and nails. Both are very resilient. Dwarves are known to decorate their bodies with a number of tattoos, unique piercings, and embedded gemstones. Equally, their hair grows thickly, prominently on their head, but across other portions of their body as well. And dwarves of all genders are known to wear facial hair, which may be styled in many intricate patterns. So they're going for the all dwarves have beards, and that's, it's a classic. And we've got a variety of looks here. I have no issues with the look. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. I think this one's quite blown up already, but we'll zoom in a bit. So you got a nice selection of dwarves here. Good mix. Good dwarves there. Good old dwarves. Right. Their ancestry feature. Increased fortitude. See? You mentioned their fortitude, and here you go. When you should take physical damage, you may spend free hope to only take half the damage instead. So you can spend hope to just not take damage. Or take less damage, sorry, like half it. But again, they're naturally resilient. It was mentioned, and that is reflected. See, it's weird to me. Because it often feels like certain bits of this were written by different people. Sometimes. Just because, not so much the style, that seems pretty consistent, so maybe it's the same person, but it feels like they had ideas in places and didn't have ideas in others. Or they didn't think, well, I've mentioned this. I don't know, I'm probably ranting on a bit too much about this. Like, I'm trying to be negative, because I do think that, so far, it's pretty good. But I do want to stress, I feel like, with how they describe stuff, like with the dwarves, they mentioned they are resilient, they are hardy people. Their trait makes them resilient and hardy. Why mention the resilience of the scales and the Draconia? Or Dracona, It's weird. Let's see what the elves then. So look at the knife ears. Elves are typically tall humanoids with pointed ears and acutely attuned senses. Their ears vary in size and pointed shape, and as elves age, the tips will begin to droop at the tip. So the droopier your elf, the older your elf. While elves can have a wide range of body types, they are fairly tall, with the shortest among them standing at around 5'8". 5'8" because it's short. Well, they people on I was going to say Tumblr, but no, I'm thinking... Why am I having a moment here? I can't think of the app. Tinder, that's it, Tinder. Yeah, the Tinder bloody people? If you can... Honestly. If 8 being short, that's it. Some people don't know what the average is. But... I don't think I'm 5... No, I'm tall, I'm 5'10". So. But yeah, for them, 5'8" is the shortest they normally get. The tallest coming closer to 6.5 feet. That's the upper end. So there's variance, but nothing too extreme. Some elves possess what's known as a mystic form, which occurs when an individual has dedicated themselves to a portion of the natural world so deeply that their physical form has changed. These characteristics can include freckles, the presence of leaves, vines or flowers in their skin or hair, and more. Sometimes these traits are inherited from an elf's parents, but the individual chooses to move their focus away from the sphere of influence. Personal appearance will adjust over time. So yeah, the more sort of in tune with nature an elf is, the more those features will turn up, like the horns, the leaves, vines, and as they go away from it, they lose those. The ancestry feature is celestial turrets. Trance. I'm stupid. Trance. Celestial trance. I think this is actually mentioned. You know what? This is specifically mentioned. They have a stress removing mechanic. During a long rest, as one of your actions, you get 2 typically. The long rest, you may choose to drop into a celestial trance. When you do so, roll a number of d8 equal to the stress you have marked, and clear all stress. If any of those dice have matching value, also clear all hit points. You have a complete heal on yourself. You can heal your health if you get any matching dice. So you're actually, what you want to do is be as stressed as possible and then go to sleep and just heal if you go lucky, right? That is really useful, and genuinely I think that's a good idea. That's a cool idea, and I can see a lot of very survivable characters using this. So yeah, I like that. I like the elves. Elves are good. Now then, the fairies. Oh, and I'll just zoom in on the elves so you get a good look at them. These are the variety of elves they have for us. Just move it closer there so you can hear me better, hopefully. As my mic does not carry as far as my Blue Yeti did. But it does sound a lot better, I hope you'll agree. Fairies, anyway. Enough about audio. I keep banging about audio so much. Those of the fairy ancestry are winged humanoid creatures with insect-like features. Okay. Fairies have close ties with the natural world and frequently possess characteristics that allow them to blend in with various plants. Based on their individual heritage, fairies' features might more closely resemble either humanoids or bugs. They may possess additional arms, compound eyes, lantern organs, chitinous exoskeletons, or stingers. The average height for a fairy ranges from 2 to 5 feet, but some fairies grow up to 7 foot tall, so they actually can be quite big. All fairies possess membranous wings and go through a unique process of metamorphosis throughout their relatively short lifespan of usually no more than 40 years. Oh shit! Oh, they're the short-lived ones, I see. So, and here's a further picture of fairies. This is how small they can be. But it's still quite big. Not as big as I was expecting, actually. Their ancestral feature, wings, mark stress to take flight until the end of the next roll of fear. Until the next roll of fear. While flying, your evasion score increases by +2. So you essentially... So stress is used for a few different resources, so you may pay a stress to fly. Okay, you pay a stress to fly. That's not too bad. It's like, you know, it's a pretty decent little thing. Look Bender. Once per session, after you or an ally in close range makes an action roll, you mark a stress to allow a reroll of the duality die. If you do, take the result. Okay, so they've got like better built-in luck rerolls. That's, yeah. I mean, I can't knock that. I cannot knock that at all. So let's look here then. But yeah, they remind me of the halflings in a way. Well, there is halflings in this, so I'll be curious to see how they differentiate, but fairies are the lucky ones in this, it would seem. The Furren. Or the Furren? Faun? The Fawn? I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. Is it Furren? Is it Fawn? Maybe Fawn. correct me if I'm wrong, please, if you do know. In my case, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to say the fawn for now. Those are the fawn ancestry, resemble goats in humanoid form, with curving horns, square pupils, and cloven hooves. Like any ancestry, their appearance varies very wildly. But most fawns have a goat-like lower body, with dense fur and cloven hooves, while their torso and hands are usually humanoid. Their faces range from humanoid to goat-like, depending on their heritage, and they can have a variety of ear shapes, horn shapes, and fur thickness. Fur and horns range from short with minimal curvature to much longer and curling. The average fern height ranges from 4 foot to 6.5 foot, which can change dramatically based on the way they stand. Majority ferns have a proportionally long limbs no matter the individual size or shape. Here is a close up of the fern here. Various decorative bits in their horns and a variety of looks, from the bestial to the much lesser bestial. It varies a lot, so you've got options here. And as you can see, various horn shapes here. So think, various different goats. You got a good idea. Of course, they can headbutt. You give the GM 1 fear to headbutt an enemy you move into melee with. The target immediately takes D8 direct physical damage and cannot be targeted again by this attack during the fight. That's weird. I'm just gonna call it now. That's weird to me. Also, it's a pity we don't get. They've gone with the headbutt thing, but they've not gone with the goat climbing, which I think is a bit of a pity, because goats can, like mountain goats especially, just glue themselves to fucking mountains and shit. Have you seen the kind of bullshit they climb on? It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous, the kind of shit they'll go like sideways up on. So the headbutt maybe a bit of a lazy one, but I mean it fits. I don't know if I like that one that much though. That one I felt like was a bit of an easy one, and not very inspired. But look, you get horns on your head. Why not? Why not? I think like it's an easy one to do, right? I guess what I'm saying is the easiest one to have done. Maybe going into the cloven feet, the speed or the actual good climbing they've got, but hey. As for giving the GM a fear, that's a weird thing to do. That's a weird one. Excuse me, apologies for yawning there. I can see the logic then, especially if you're playing a class that can, like a Seraphim. One of these as a Seraphim could work quite nicely, because especially the winged one, you can take back a fear, I believe. There's one that you can, and both of them are quite combat heavy. These feel like they want to be frontline fighters. You can easily make them magic wielders, of course, but they feel like they want to be fighters. To me. Alright. The Furbolg. Furbolg resemble cows in humanoid form. Typically recognized by their broad nose and long ears, members of this ancestry have more humanoid bodies which may be more or less covered in hair. Some have facial features that are a blend of human and cow, but others, often referred to as minotaurs, have heads that resemble specific cattle. No matter their other characteristics, Furbolgs may possess horns, though many do not. Members of this ancestry come in a range of colours, from earth tones to pastel hues, like pink and blue. They are tall, muscular creatures with heights ranging from 5 to 7 feet. Okay, and possess remarkable strength for their size. Okay. They mention the strength, but you'll see here what isn't their trait. Now, I'm all for them having this. This is a good ability. If you would mark a stress, roll d6. On a 6, you take no stress. Okay. This is a good feature. I like this feature a lot. Here's what I'm going to say on the matter, though. You gave the demons 2 traits. Would it hurt to give some of the others 2 traits? You mentioned their strength, specifically here. Now, I could see them not doing it so you can more easily go, hey, I can do whatever I want. That's cool. But why? It's weird that they settle specifically, like even the last thing there, and just remarkable strength for their size. Like, it doesn't say like, oh, some are known to be very strong. Maybe reword that a bit, because the way that reads to me before I read the ancestry trait is they're all really strong. But actually they're all really chill. They're, like, maybe highlight how genuinely chill they are. Because they sound like they're absolutely just, you know, vibing. But the way you described them, they're these massive hulking beasts of a thing, was like, actually, no, they're really chill. I don't know, just something... It feels like occasionally what they describe and then what they get doesn't line up, and that bothers me more. Like, mechanically it's fine, I have no issue with that. But make sure your fluff matches your crunch. There's nothing more confusing to someone new than you describing something to them, like, oh, these guys are big hulking behemoths, you know, or these are big, like, tall and strong and meaty. Okay. What, so they get better with strength? No, they're really calm. Like, what? Like, that's... It's a small thing, right, but again, it seems to keep coming up a lot. It's annoying because this wasn't as much of a problem in the classes, from what I remember. So I don't know what went wrong here. It feels like someone else writ the ancestries. And that bothers me a little bit, because I feel like they did such a good job with the classes. I don't hate any of the races at all, but I must admit their descriptions don't feel like they match with what you get. Now obviously this is a less crunchy game, but make sure your fluff translates, alright, for what bit of crunch there is. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe look at rewording that a little bit, just so it doesn't come across as like... Because I read that as, they're all strong. You specifically highlight the strength. Maybe that's just me, but maybe change a little bit there so it's less implying they're all strong. If that's not the case. These are an interesting one. Is that a fungus samurai? That's cool as fuck. What the hell? That is a fungus samurai. That is cool as I like this so much. Alright. Bungril. The Bungrills, they're all fun. I'll take my leave. Bungrils resemble a mushroom in humanoid form, bearing the features of the fungus from which they descended. Because of this, their appearance can vary wildly. I feel like what we're seeing here in these concept arts is quite reflective of how they want to do the final game, by the way. Because they keep mentioning everyone can vary wildly. So I think we're going to see a lot of variety in the final art for this, which will be interesting actually, and I like that. They may be anywhere from about 2 to 7 foot tall, either more humanoid or more fungus in appearance. They come in an assortment of colours, from earth tones to bright reds, and yellows, purples and blues. Their physical forms are non-standardized, resulting in an incredible variety of bodies, faces and limbs. Though all fungus can speak verbally, the vast difference in appearance of fungrals means that most of the ancestry do not have a standard visual, non-verbal means of communication, and may choose to utilize a marsupial array for communication. Okay. So, they're very much retaining that mushroomness to them with a lot of these descriptions. And before I comment any further, let me look at their feature. Always connected. To speak with other fungal across distant... excuse me. To speak with other fungal across distance, to access their hive mind of information, make an instinct roll. At character creation, describe what ritual you must perform to tap into this connection. So they almost have like this semi-hive mind that they all link back to. The more I look at some of these, the more I think, you know, would some optional rules for like whether you made your character taller or not than normal, or like on the upper end of the averages, maybe have helped a little? Just to give some extra fluff, you know, like, oh, your fungral's big and bulky. Just, I don't know. Maybe just some optional stuff to like help better emphasize that variety. You know, you can add some crunch to your variety. It's not required. You can represent it in stats, of course. Just, I don't know. Perhaps I'm thinking very crunchy. I don't know. I just think, I always see these kind of things and I think, you get a little bit more, surely. But these are very unique. We don't just like the standard plant people, these are mushroom people. And mushrooms do kind of like a hive mind in a sense, they're all kind of connected to each other. Doesn't mention... The only thing with this, though, I will say, this is kind of a I knew everything card. That's basically what it does. How it reads to me. That's my only issue. This is someone plays a fungal. There are very few secrets. Because they will just learn them if they roll that roll. That's the only thing I think you have to watch with that. But otherwise I think it's cool. And also, if I zoom in, I really like this one. Let me move me because I'm in the way. I really like this one. It's a literal fungus samurai. I think that's cool as hell. Like his shroom head is literally like his little, like the hat. I forget the proper name for it, but that's just cool. I'd probably make something like that actually for a character. The Galappa, which is probably a little pun on the Galapagos Islands, because they're all tortoise people. So, those of the Galappa ancestry resemble an anthropomorphic turtles with large domed shells. Those are the ones in the thumbnail I like to use for this. You probably noticed. Large domed shell with which leads to the head and limbs that can retract inside for defense. I was going to say if they can't go inside that shell, then I'll be annoyed. Yeah, I've just seen the ancestral feature. Okay, right. I'm happy now. That's fine. On average, they range from 4 to 6 foot. Okay, so they aren't another towering behemoth. This is more middling, which is good. An individual's overall shape is dictated by the type of turtle, the heritage. Yeah, so again, they have a variety of tones and looks. Okay. Pattern special in the tails. Okay, yeah. And the majority of them move fairly slowly. Okay. Shell protection. The shell on your back always protects you, and with proficiency to the armor score. Okay, so you get a pretty nice bit of armor. And there's even an example here of someone chiseling out a design on the back of this guy's shell, which I think is pretty cool. If I zoom in a bit here, so they can kind of combine their shell with armor to get this really thick, heavy armor going. And variety of shapes, considering the turtles. I like that. Now then, the giant. Yes, you can play a giant apparently in this. So, we've got some options here. They get 2 straights as well. Giants are very tall humanoids with long arms, broad stature, and 1 to 3 eyes. Okay, interesting there. So they've got a variety of the eye number. So you can have a Cyclops if you want. The smallest adults among the ancestry are 6.5 foot, with the largest coming in around 8.5. So this is more old school giants, so like not quite these towering like things that go over entire like just over the heads of like small hills and mountains. These are more like really tall people, like 8 foot. These are the kind of people that look down at LeBron, you know. I think 8 foot would look down on him. Although certainly he's a pretty tall motherfucker, so maybe he looks about the same size. Point is, these fuckers playing basketball. These are tall motherfuckers. Combination of their size, giants are most easy to recognise for their long limbs that grant them added reach. And here we are, they actually give them reach. Someone read the fluff and went, they should have reach. Where was this for the other stuff? I swear, sometimes I wonder if multiple people are writing these, because it feels like one person read their fluff and went, huh, they should have reach. Well done. Good job there. They tend towards dense musculature, no matter their gender or body type. While the majority among them, this ancestry, have 2 eyes, it's not uncommon for giants to have 1 or 3 eyes. Yeah. So yeah, they can add that as various things. So endurance, they gain an additional hit point at the start of character creation, and reach. Any melee weapon you wield has its range increased to very close. So normally, things have to be like close, I believe. In fact, like, you have to like right next to them. Whereas this is very close. I forget the range of very close, and I kind of wish they'd just use the feet system like everyone else does, or squares. But hey, hopefully we'll get a translation for that down the road. They kind of show it off, but yeah, a bit more clarification would be nice. But still, these are good. And if I zoom in, you got all kinds of giants. From just your dude, to somewhat brutalish, to somewhat very fancy, something a bit more classical hero, barbarian, various shapes and sizes, and eye numbers. Oh. Shit. Oh, bugger me. Right, 1 second. There we go. Right. The Goblin. Those of the Goblin ancestry are small humanoids, typically recognised with their large ears and massive so their large eyes and massive membranous ears. You're not kidding, look at those fuckers. You don't even need me to zoom in on those, do you? They actually got coloured designs. They've got some sketches too. They actually got coloured in too, so they've got a bit further in the art stage. Because of their physical features, they tend to have keen hearing and eyesight. We'll see if that reflects, shall we? Don't listen to the fluff, it ain't accurate sometimes. Not in the rules. That allows them to receive details at greater distance, in darkness, or in less optimal environments. Their skin and eyes, these colours are incredibly varied, with no one hue, neither variant or subdued more dominant than the other. Their height ranges from 3 to 4 feet, and each of their ears is about the size of the individual's head. Goblins are most known to use their ears, to use ear protections to very specific effects within their non-verbal communications. Oh, ear positions, sorry. Use ear positions. Right. They got a bit of ear communication. Okay. And they have danger sense. Once per short rest, you may mark stress. Make the GM re-roll an attack. If it still hits, you reduce the incoming value by efficiency. Okay. I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself a lot today. Why mention the acute eyesight and hearing and not give them acute eyesight and hearing? I can kind of see that in a danger sense, but at the same time, it kind of just feels like it came out of nowhere. Like, okay, just I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it does annoy me a little bit because it's like, don't address something, and then it just feels weird. Feels weird and strange to do it that way. But I'll zoom in real quick here. I like the designs, they're pretty cool. They've got a nice little variety here. Variety of looks. This goblin is only contained by a single belt, it would seem. Wizard gobbo. Various gobbos. Various shapes. Basically, big ears. Big ears and big eyes. But they haven't gone with like that gremlin kind of look. They're kind of... yeah, it's not about aesthetic. It's not about aesthetic at all. Halflings. You know them, you love them. They probably robbed you once. Nah, they probably didn't. But you thought they did. Halflings are typically small humanoids. Who would have guessed? With large, hairy feet and prominent round ears. Not as prominent as the goblins, that's for damn sure. On average, they're 3 to 4 feet, so same size, with ears, nose, and feet that are large in proportion to the rest of their features. After the goblins, I'm not gonna lie, their ears ain't shit. Halflings are naturally attuned to the magnetic fields of the mortal realm, give them a strong internal compass. I'm seeing the trait. That has nothing to do with direction. They also possess a strong sense of hearing, smell, and may be more able to detect these who are familiar with air. They also possess strong senses of hearing and smell, and may be able to detect those who are familiar to them by the sound of their movements. Okay. That has nothing to do with any of that. Beginning of each session, give everyone in your party a hope. You may also re-roll a 1 on your hope die. If you do so, take the new roll instead. The feature is fine. It is a nice feature. I like the feature. However, where anywhere is it mentioned that they have any means of manipulating luck? I can see times where you want to like use the fluff to play this off, but at the same time, it feels a bit out the blue. I don't know. I don't want to come across like I'm just a complaining arsehole here, but it does feel like some of these ancestry traits just like out the blue. Here's a little zoom in of them. They've got some nice designs, nice variety. This one's got an afro. And a sword that's probably a long sword in anyone else's hand. Like this one's hand, this fella's hand, that's a long sword, but to them, that's a great sword. Got a mage, explorer, all kinds of shapes and sizes. This guy looked a little ratty for a second. I thought he was going for a Skaven look. Good old humanity. We're a varied bunch. Those of the human ancestry are most easily recognised by their dexterous hands, rounded ears, and bodies built for endurance. Their average height is around 5. It's just under 5 foot to about 6.5 feet. They have a wide variety. Skippy. Now stop yawning, man. They have a wide variety in their build. Some being quite muscular, others lithe, and everything in between. Humans are incredibly physically adaptable and can adjust to harsh climates with relative ease. Perseverance. When you fail a roll that utilises one of your experiences, you may spend a hope to re-roll and must hit your result. This feels appropriate. I think this feels appropriate. This feels better because you're using their experiences that they've adapted to, and that adaptation, you then let you re-roll to be better at the thing you're better at doing. This is good. Good work. This is a good one. This is a good one. I like this one. And obviously, it's good old humanity. Look how varied and weird we are. Some of us demanding it entirely become an anime character. Hi. Moving on swiftly. The furries. You know who you are. The Qatari. The Qatari ancestry are feline humanoids with soft fur, high triangular ears. They also have vertical slit pupils, small pointed canine teeth, and long whiskers. Long whiskers, that's perception. Also have vertically slit pupils, small pointed canine teeth, and long whiskers, that perception and navigation. That does not read correctly at all, does it? And long whiskers, that perception navigation. That's one that didn't hit the editor. Okay, their ears can swivel nearly 180 degrees to detect sound, adding to their heightened senses. Depending on their lineage, Qatari may more closely resemble their cat ancestors, or human, with the amount of hair facial structure to match. Equally, they may or may not have tails, and their skin and fur possesses a wide range of hues and solid colours. Calico tones of tabby patterns and an array of spots and stripes. Their height ranges from 3 foot to 6.5 foot. And someone has done the furry scale. We have the Hrofgar / Khajiit to the Furrier to the Makote. There's your furry scale for today, folks. They have feline instincts. On any agility roll, you may mark a stress to re-roll your hope die. If you do so, take the new roll instead. Okay. That's fine. It didn't mention anything about that specific in the description, but them being very nimble. But I accept this. However, I'd point out if you're playing someone more like these more muscular builds, it feels a bit funny. But for these more live builds, yeah, it's fine. It just feels weird for these. But hey, I guess you can be really muscular and still really agile, so it can work. Alright, the orcs. Let's talk about some orcs, shall we? 2 of them are actually coloured in too. So, they go for the classic green, but I assume there's variety. So, they're recognised as humanoids with square features and boar-like tusks. Tusks protrude from the lower jaw, and the size can vary between individuals. While they extend from their mouths, tusks are not used for consuming food, and thus many orcs choose to decorate them with significant ornamentation. Orcs have mid-sized pointed ears, and their skin is typically colored green, blue, pink, and grey tones. Orcs tend towards a muscular stature, no matter their individual size or build, and their average height ranges from 5 foot to 6 foot, 6.5 foot. Okay. And here is some of the orcs depicted. You have a more warrior-style orc here, a more mage-style one here, with a variety of folks of all shapes and sizes. Even a young orc over here, seemingly. Ancestry feature is sturdy. When you should mark an armor slot, roll a d6. On a 5 up, you don't mark the armor slot but still reduce the incoming damage by your armor score. So, they have mentioned they are built well and resilient. Looks then towards a muscular stature. Okay, so muscular, implying quite strong, quite resilient. Okay. This is okay. Maybe something to do with their strength could have come up there as well, but this is fine. I'm okay with this. This is the only one they get. That's fine. Sturdy fits, and we get some nice tusk variants here. And a few different colours of orc. Now then. the ribbit. Those ribbit ancestry resemble anthropomorphic frogs with protruding eyes, and webbed hands. Protruding ears, like he curses a frog. They have smooth, though sometimes watery and moist skin. Eyes positioned on the side of the top of their head. And while some ribbits have hind legs more than twice the length of their torso, others have fairly small limbs. That's their size, which ranges from 3 foot to 4.5 foot. Ribbits primarily move by hopping. All ribbits have hands and feet webbed, allowing them to swim with ease. Some ribbits possess a natural green and brown camouflage, whilst others are quite vibrantly coloured in an array of bold patterns. No matter their appearance, all ribbits are born from eggs laid in the water, hatched to tadpoles, and after about 6 to 7 years mature into amphibians that can move around on land. So we got frog people, and they get 2 traits. We'll look at those in a second. We have many varieties here. We have the fancy toad. You know, he's a fancy boy with his little collar. We have the gentleman, the young hero, the westerner, as far as I can tell, the western kind of cowboyish look, the thief, the mage, the absolute fucking unit, and the boy. Very pronounced throat bulge there, good sir. I like him. Some good variety there. Good amphibious variety. Some more variety here as well. Their tongue. Even the holy man here. Or holy person, I don't know. Holy person. Amphibious. You can breathe and move underwater just as easily as on land. Good. I would be very annoyed if that wasn't a thing. And a long tongue. You can use your long, powerful tongue to grab onto things close to you. You may also mark stress to unleash it in a finesse weapon that deals 12 physical damage. Holy shit. That could do a... That's actually kind of strong. Like, it's only a D12... Like, it's 1d12, right? But still, that's a fucking lot of damage. Let's just sort of leash it. I assume... I'm not sure what finesse means in the context of this game, but if it's anything like D&D... Holy shit. That's terrifying. Alright, so far so good with these. And the Simia is the last race on the list. The last ancestry, should I say. They are the monkey people. Simia resemble anthropomorphic monkeys and apes. You could argue a human being in many ways was one too, but you know, I guess we're kind of close. But this is a more... somewhere more closer between the gap, right? This is like... perhaps our ancestors go on a different path and say draw a fluffy. This is maybe what they'd be like. Okay, anthropomorphic monkeys and apes with long limbs and prehensile feet. This grants them an appearance that ranges from the largest gorilla to the smallest marmoset. Everything in between. Their size does not align directly with their animal counterparts, as they tend to range from 2 to 6 feet tall, though the degree varies. All members of this ancestry have prehensile feet and utilize this dexterity in non-verbal communication, movement, work, and combat. This trait also grants them a unique ability that they can aid them in a variety of physical tasks. Their ancestry feature is nimble. Take advantage on agility rolls that involving bouncing and climbing. Stop yawning, bloody hell, man. Bouncing and climbing, and add +1 to the evasion and the character creation. This is basically what's described. And here we have a variety of the Simia. From this big muscular gorilla to this more wise, shamanish sort of fella. To this fella here. More baboon looking. You know, nice variety of ape-like looks. It's not a common look you see. So, it's unique. Speaking of unique, what if you decide that you aren't unique enough? Well, don't worry, my friends, they have a solution for that too. Characters of mixed ancestry. Families within Dagheart are as unique as their peoples and cultures inhabited. You may meet characters with close resemblance to their parents, or those who descend from a line of many different ancestries. The physical appearance and skill set of someone can be shaped by blood and magic, by proximity, or a variety of characteristics. If you decide that your character is a descendant of multiple ancestries, you may use the mechanic below to select an ancestry feature. You may choose your heritage at level 1. Write down how your character would identify themselves. For example, could be Goblin Orc, or just Goblin, with Orc in their lineage. Or name you choose, like Tootling. While you select the ancestry card for your character, you can choose from any of the ancestry features from your lineage to become part of your loadout. Although your family has shaped you in many ways, this skill is most significant to you. So you can take a bit of Bob if you want, and take little bits of Bobs. Which, okay, it's alright. Nothing bad about that at all. And I think that's an alright way of approaching it. So you can have your half-elf if you want. Now, the community. This is the last bit you get for character creation. After that, we may... We'll look in the appendix if anything of interest pops out to me. I don't want to have as long a stream this one, just because I must admit, the week's been long and I am tired, but I still wanted to get this out there. But we're going to look at the community in full, and then we may have a little look through the appendix to see what kind of stuff comes up. Maybe do a playing adventure or leveling up. We'll see. I'll do a little bit so it'll catch my interest, alright? If there is any section you see and think, hey, would you mind going over that? And I haven't already done so, please do give me, just shout it out in the chat, and I will have a look at that. Let me put this up here as well, just in case someone chats or comments, or I need to put anything in chat because Streamlabs is funny. Okay, now then, onto the community section. Your community describes the culture or environment your character grew up in. Though it's likely they were a member of numerous communities during their upbringing, this choice represents the one they felt influenced their personality and current skill set the most. So basically, this is kind of like a bit of nature v nurture in a sense, right? You've got your nature, with some of that still come from your ancestry, but nurture will come from your community. So you could be a tiefling, well, a demon, but you're order-born, so you're raised in a church. You know, you might be a fairy, but you're urban-born, raised in a city. And how would that affect you? Maybe you're a skyborn elf. Maybe you're a highborn halfling. There's many things you could do. Each has a community feature, a unique move or set of moves. Okay, so this also grants you stuff too. Alright. So, the Highborn. Being part of the Highborn community means that you were born into a life of elegance, opulence, and prestige within the upper echelons of society. Traditionally, members of the Highborn community possess incredible material wealth, while this takes a variety of forms depending on the community: gold or other materials, land, controlling the means of production, etc. It always comes with incredible power and influence. Highborn highly value titles and possessions, and there is very little societal mobility within their ranks. It's not common for members of Highborn community to control the political and economic status of the areas in which they live based on their ability to influence the individuals and the economy with their substantial wealth. The health and safety of less affluent people who live in those locations often hinges on the ability of the Highborn ruling class to prioritise the well-being of their subject over profit. Highborn individuals are often amiable, candid, convincing, entertaining, ostentatious, or palpable. Often, but not always. So this is your classic noble start, right? You are the noble. You are this big shot in the community. You are part of an elite class. Your royalty, your nobility, you're a knight. You're above the common folk. And you know, your life is about being in that position of being above. You come from that wealth. And your feature is inheritance. You have advantage on any rolls you make when consulting with nobles, negotiating prices, or leveraging your reputation to get what you want. Take an extra handful of gold at character creation. This fits. I'm fine with this. No issue here for me. This is what I would expect. You get more money, you get more influence. Yeah, no issue from me. This is fine. Being part of a lawborn community. You're brought up in a place that favoured strong academic or political prowess. So this could also mean you're in high society as well, but you're part of the cogs, you're part of the machine, you're not like this big figurehead noble. No, you're like in the political party. You're, maybe the banker, maybe you're the scholar, the teacher, the studier, Value knowledge, yet frequently in the form of preservation of history, advancement of politics, study of science, honouring of skill, and collecting of mythology. Because of this, many lawborn communities that are not closely tied. Many lawborn communities are not closely tied to the landscape. Very often, this collective will highly value structures designed to protect physical books, records, and they will only engage with nature and the physical world in a particularly intellectual way. So they're very shut in. They leave to do studies. So if they want to learn about plants, they'll go out and go to the plants. But they're there for the study of the plants. That's it. They go after that. While some lawborn societies are isolationist, others use their knowledge to make deft political maneuvers in the larger governmental landscape. Some lawborn communities, such as those surrounding a college or attached to a guild, are smaller enclaves with wider societies. They may operate with a separate and unique ethos. So you might be this kind of, they mentioned it it's really eloquent, inquisitive, patient. Yeah, give some examples for what you might be like. But you're the person seeking information, right? You are someone who's well-read, knowledgeable, and understands the field they're in quite well, or is good at learning into the field. Maybe you're a biologist in a sense. You study living things. You study life. Maybe you do chemistry. Maybe you're part of the political machine. So it mentions politics a lot here actually, and you can you're the intelligent one, but you're using that intelligence to influence things. Like, hey, I know about the political moving and shaking here, highborn guy. Let me maneuver here, because I'm good at that. You're a behind-the-scenes person in that regard, but you're good at it. I can see some uses for this. You can kind of work with, or in the similar role to the highborn, in a sense. So your history, culture, or politics of a prominent person or place. Yeah, so you are really good at going to a location, figuring it out, and utilising that information. Yeah, good so far. Orderborn. Being part of an Orderborn community means you're raised in a place of great discipline or faith, and upholds a set of principles that reflect your experience there. Orderborn are frequently some of the most powerful among the surrounding communities by aligning the members of their society around a common value or goal, such as a god, doctrine, ethos, or even shared business or trade. The ruling bodies of these enclaves are able to mobilize greater populations with less effort, while the Orderborn communities may take a variety of forms, some even profoundly pacifistic. Perhaps the most feared of those are the structures themselves around the military prowess. In this case, it is not uncommon for Orderborn to provide soldiers for hire other cities or countries. So you are part of this, typically this military group, or quite often like a church. So discipline or faith. So you could either be like military order, like knights, monastic order, like kind of thing. Maybe you work for the church. You're raised by the church. You're like a nun, a priest. You're kind of this figure of influence in a way because of where you're from. But also I guess like you kind of have these values that you follow as well, like a paladin in a sense. These oaths, these things that you've set in stone and gone, these are the things I am following. So yeah, I like that. What's the feature for this? Dedicated. Record 3 sayings or values which you're bringing, instilling you. Once per short rest, when you describe how you're embodying one of those principles for your current action, you may roll with a d20 as your hope die instead of a d12. Okay. That one... Interesting. So this actually makes you good at downtime stuff. That one's a bit interesting. It definitely would be stepping on the toes of the other two if you did have like influence type stuff you could do. So this more dedicates to how it impacted you and making you more dedicated. It definitely feels like they were trying to say that these are quite a, influential group. I mean, not the most influential group because they're the church, but if it's reflecting on what you've gained from it, yeah, this is okay. And it gets you better at the thing you're doing as your downtime. You get 3 sayings or values, and then you're essentially trying to embody those for your downtime. Do you want to pick actions that specifically get these, so you can roll d20 rather than d12, so you get a much better result. Which is interesting to me. Okay. Means the hope die are more likely to be a better result. Okay. Ridgeborn then. Live on the rocky peaks and sharp cliffs, the mountainside home. Those who've grown up in the mountains often consider themselves hardier than most, likely because they've lived among the most dangerous terrain. Okay, yes, so you live up in the mountains, basically. You're essentially one of those communities that's like really high up in the hills, like in the highlands, that kind of type place. Himalayas, that sort of thing. Sturdy. You advance traversing dangerous cliffs and ledges, navigating harsh environments, and survival knowledge. You also gain +1 to your armor score. Yeah, completely fine with this. You've come from a place that's really dangerous. You've become sturdy as a result. You're more resilient, and you're good at navigating these dangerous kind of conditions. And it opens it up a bit to be like, oh, it could be like deserts and shit. So, yeah, fine with that. Nothing much to say on that, really. Seaborn. So you are growing up on the coast. Cultural around waters, they call home. So it could be a river too. Harbours may function as both centres of commerce, tourist attractions, or even just safe place to lay down one's head after a week's travel. All the seaborn live on the water, some may live on the boat. Yeah. Say you're probably a sailor, you've probably done a bit of naval stuff, or you've lived on the coast your entire life. Okay. Safe harbour. Once per session, when you take a short or long rest, you may make an additional downtime action. I can kind of see it. But it's a good feature. An extra action's good. But it feels strange. It feels strange with how it's described. Like, I'd almost say, if you're a seaborn person, you'd have advantages with, like, swimming and maybe a bit of climbing, because you climb up ships and stuff. Perhaps. But maybe that's tripping on the other one's toes a bit, the ridgeboard a bit, but I don't know. Safe Harbor's a good ability, I have no issue with it. It just feels a bit strange in a thematic sense. but it's a nice ability. I guess you can make an argument that, like, you've kind of, like, maybe when you have the downtime on, like, a ship or something, you've become good at maximizing it. That's one way you could say. Potentially. I know, it's a weird one. Slyborn. It's not Skyborn, it's Slyborn. Yeah, Slyborn, you're a street urchin. Being part of the Slyborn community means you're growing up in underbelly of society, surrounded by criminals and con artists. Members of the Slyborn communities are brought together by their position in society. So you're the opposite of the noble, you're right at the damn bottom. Forging, thievery, smuggling, and violence. Among the Slyborn, there are a variety of social classes, including those who have garnered vast wealth and influence, and others without a coin to their name. To the outside eye, the Slyborns may seem like ruffians, with no loyalty. Both communities possess some of the most strict codes of honour, which, when broken, may result in a terrifying end for the perpetrator. Oh yeah, the classic honour among thieves, or like the Mafia. Hey. Don't look at me like that. I have nothing to do with the Cabral family at all. Ignore the fact that I am the head of it. But, you know, you break the code, you get the beating. Same for this household as well. Don't break the rules, you get an absolute thrashing within an inch of your life. But, no, I like this. The fluff seems nice. Works for me. Let's see if the feature is good. Okay, the advanced roles where you are negotiating with criminals, detecting lies, or finding a safe place to hide. Fine with that. Completely fine with that. Meets with the fluff perfectly. I have no grumbles or complaints. I wish I could say the same with all of them, but this one I have no grumbles or complaints with. Very good. Underborn. Being part of the Underborn community means that you're from subterranean society. Like, you know, the Underdark type place. Like where Drow come from, or Snurf Niblin, or various things from the deep. Snurf Niblin is another name for deep gnomes, by the way. In case you don't know, the gnomes that hide very well underground. The Duragar also come from there, the really deep dwarves that are really angry. And we used to be Mind Flayer Thralls. Many Underborn live right beneath the cities and villages of other groups, and others live much deeper. Those communities range from small family groups and boroughs to massive metropolis caverns of stone. Among many groups, Underborn are recognised for their incredible boldness and skill. Acknowledging this community as highly capable of feats of architecture and engineering, which would take to do underground building. Members of this community are regularly hired for their bravery, as even the least daring Underborn citizen is likely to encounter a number of underground beasts in their daily lives, and learning to dispatch such creatures is commonplace among these societies. Because of the danger of their environment, many Underborn communities develop non-verbal languages that may prove equally useful on the surface. And you get low light living. When you're in an area with low light or heavy shadow, you have advantage on rolls to hide, investigate, or perceive details within the area. That works. That works. Completely works. Why are some of these perfect and some of these just feel a little off? Like, some of them are absolutely perfect. It's like someone looked at this, looked at the fluff and went, I know what feature I can give you. And it works so well. But damn, sometimes I'm like, oh no, please, please. Right, we have two more. The Wanderborn. Being part of the Wanderborn community means you were raised as a nomad, not having a permanent home, but experiencing a wide variety of cultures. Unlike many communities that are defined by their locale, Wanderborn are defined by their perpetuistic lifestyle. Because of their frequent migration, Wanderborn are likely to put less value on the accumulation of material possessions in favour of acquiring information, skills, and connections. While some Wanderborn are allied with common ethos, such as religion or a set of political or economical values, others come together after a shared tragedy, such as the loss of their home or lands. That's the reason. The dangers posed by the life on the road means that the Wanderborn are known for their unwavering loyalty. And they have nomadic pack. Add a nomadic pack to your inventory. Once per session, you may spend a hope to reach into this pack and pull out a common item that is useful for the situation. Work with the GM to figure out what this item is. This is fine. Another one could have been something to do with wandering, but I like the idea that you are experienced wandering so much that you have something for every occasion. Yeah, that's fine. This is perfectly fine by me. It's a nice quirky little feature, and it's once per session, so it can't be abused. And you have to spend a hope. So yeah, fine with that. Wildborn. Being part of the Wildborn community means that you are raised by a clan deep within the forest. While some construct their lodgings high in the branches of trees themselves, still others establish their homes on the ground beneath the canopies. Wildborn are defined by their dedication to the conservation of their homelands, and many such communities have strong religious and cultural ties to the plants and thrive among them. It is a hallmark of Wildborn groups to disturb. It's the hallmark of the Wildborn groups to disturb the natural environment as little as possible when constructing their villages or cities. It is not uncommon for them to remain fairly reclusive and hidden within their wooden homes. And they will have when they gain Lightfoot. Your movement is naturally silent. Take advantage of any action rolls you make to move without being heard. Spend a hope to also grant this ability to an ally in very close range of you. I could have seen them getting some kind of gathering, but you know what? This is fine. I'm fine with this, and I think that's a nice thing, and you can help an ally with it. This could easily be worked into a rogue, ranger, or even a variety of things, honestly. Yeah, I like it. It fits nicely, makes sense to me. So the community section, what am I thinking of it? Definitely a lot of the traits fit much nicer than some of the ancestry traits do. Waterborn is the only one where I'm like, Seaborn, the only one where I'm like, And even then, I don't hate the feature. I haven't hated any of the features. I just think it sounds funny next to this, but this one feels closer to. I can more easily argue this one than the others. I don't hate any of the features. I just want features that fit nicely. So, but no, I'm fine with this. Now then, playing an adventure. Alright, playing an adventure. Let's see here. This chapter will cover what you need to know as a player in order to start your adventure. This includes the core mechanics and how combat works, some optional rules to consider adding to your game, and more. Flow of the game. Yep, describing stuff, that's fine. Conversations, questions, Daghart. Yeah. Okay. So it's the usual sort of stuff. GM narrates details, GM gives, yep, that's fine. GM questions. Yep, that's fine. Player and GM answer questions. Choose and resolve answers. Yeah, okay. Same gist you're used to for any of TTRPG. If you're not for some reason, by the way, feel free to ask me. I have been running them for a little while, so I know bits. We need to go over this. Core mechanics. Let's look at this bit, because this bit's probably a bit more of use to those of us who know more about TTRPGs anyway. The core dice in Daghart are a pair of D12s. They mention these duality dice a lot, so let's see. From what I understand, reading through this, some bits I've looked at, the duality dice, you have a score. You roll both dice to get over the score. But depending on which dice is higher, it will either roll it with fear or with hope. You want it with hope, unless you don't. Unless you're a demon, and then you don't. Then you can say, nah, I stress that fear away. But even then, you probably want hope. Now, it mentions it here. When you roll with duality dice and the hope rolls higher, you roll with hope. When this happens, mark one of the hope slots, so you gain a hope slot on the character sheet to maximum of 5, like your inspirations. You also gain hope from spells, abilities, or other things that happen in the game. Then fear. You roll duality dice and the fear is higher, which means you can still succeed, but you rolled with fear. When this happens, even if you succeed on your action roll, there are consequences or complications that come with it. But also the GM gets a fear token. But if you match dice, critical success. And you clear a stress. So it's really good to get those, of course. Remember this roll. If both dice are the same number, it automatically rolls it with F. Even if it would... Yeah, so if you rolled 2 of the same dice, it's like 6 and a 6, even if actually you needed a 7 and a 7, let's say, or like a... Let's say you rolled 2 6s, you get 12. Maybe you needed 14 to make the roll happen. However, doesn't matter. Because you made a critical success there. So not only does it count as hope, excuse me, but it also clears stress. So a pretty good thing to get a crit. And that feels pretty good to get. I like that. Using hope. You go half hope at time, so you don't want it too long. Hope can be used to help an ally utilize experience or activate hope feature. So there's a variety of features that use hope. So you can help someone, give advantage for experience. So you can actually need to spend these to use your experiences. So you want to gain and spend them as you go. And there's various features that use it too. Okay, might learn a partial information face a strike from enemy that you just detected. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if you fail fear, it's like almost like a critical failure. You'll have further consequences. Okay, so yeah, GM makes compensates from the fear roll, but they also collect the fear. GM can later spend those. Yeah, so basically the GM collects fear to be used. So fear's their own resource. So like, let's say I'm the GM in this case. I keep that fear for use later. So if you failed anything, I can then utilize that for things. You as a player have some things to use though. So damage thresholds, which they mentioned before, but aware of this one. Yeah, so that's the damages. Damage below, no stress. Okay. If you ever mark your final available hit point, you must automatically make a death move. Death's its own thing. So clearing hit points, anytime it's downtime, you have the opportunity to clear some hit points. You can heal. You can heal. You don't have to. You can heal. You can increase both your damage threshold as well as the amount of HP and stress you take. Okay, check out that as well. Additional damage threshold. To make this game more dangerous, the table may implement the rule, but the incoming damage in the attack roll is ever double or more than the character's save threshold. The target marks additional hit point, so you can make it more dangerous. Stress represents the mental and physical strain. So yeah, some hits don't do damage, but do stress you. Does your anxiety increase? Okay, yeah, so you could get, from becoming anxiety as well. There's various things that can incur stress, so you can actually, in RP, build up stress for the players, and that can actually affect them in combat too. So, there's a bit of to and fro of it. There's complications, stressful moves, a lot of things that incur stress, and that can actually hurt them. So actually high stakes, if they're too stressed, it could actually affect them. Well, they actually take damage. Like, I have something like a nosebleed because I was stressed to getting, you know? Okay, action rolls, yeah, we can... Yeah, these are the standard kind of things you'd expect. Yeah. Physical feat. Yeah, all these different things. So we've talked about these before, but anything? Spellcast rolls. Type roll use. Okay, rolls. Roll. Okay. Okay. Tag team rolls. They mentioned this actually. Each player can choose one time per session to spend free hope to initiate a tag team move. Just partly describe how the two characters combine their actions in a exciting way. Both you and your part. Okay, so you both make rolls, but then if you weren't able to succeed that, you can then pull something rather funny. Like maybe you pick up and throw the rogue at somebody. Maybe you both grab someone and, like, you know, tackle them to the ground, you know, combine your efforts, you know, you're working as a team. And because you will have the simultaneous turn, you can do that quite easily. Coordinate quite easily, I'd say, as well. Damage types, so physical magic, direct damage, physical or magic, that automatically hits target. Okay, so that just ignores stuff. Resistance and immunity. Some things have resistance and immunity to things. Okay, yeah. Evasion score, which is evasion score is just I try and hit you, and you know you might miss. Mounted movement. I want to look at this real quick. Target rules don't measure distance by feet, but by range. Don't be weird and quirky about it. Just do feet like everyone else. There's approximate given below for each of the 5 ranges. It's not something that is to be measured perfectly at the table. The GM will always have. That feels a bit too wishy-washy for me, personally, but it's one of them. Melee means the character's within touching distance. Like very close means that the distance where. Okay. Okay, so you do actually. Okay, so. Well, that's a bit annoying. So. 5 to 10 feet. Okay. Okay, so like. That translates in a funny way from like the Roll20 kind of squares, but. Okay, one game card. Okay, 10 to 30 feet. 30 to 100 feet, very far, 100 to 300 feet. Okay. See, the issue is here is the top end of far is the beginning of very far. So if something is 100 feet away, are they far or very far away? Maybe adjust that a little. Maybe. Because the upper ends... Yeah, that's a bit too... It's a little too wishy-washy. Okay. Let's jump to death. Death can happen, and there's various things that will happen when you enter a death move. You don't go down, but you can choose. Embrace death and go out with Blaze of Glory. Take one action at GM's discretion, which becomes an automatic critical success, and cross through the Veil of Death. So, you do something glorious. You go out the Blaze of Glory, then you're dead. You're gone, that's it. Game over, you're done. Right? That's pretty cool. You can avoid death and face consequences. This is where you drop unconscious, and work with the GM to describe how the situation gets much worse because of it. Then roll your fear die. Its value equals 2 or under your level, take a scar. You may not take any actions while unconscious. When you have any number of marked hit point cleared by an ally or your party's next long rest, you return to consciousness. Or, you can risk it all. Roll duality die. If hope is higher, you stay on your feet and clear an amount of hit points and or stress equal to the value of hope die. Divide the hope die value between those, however you prefer. If fear die is higher, you cross with the Veil of Death. You're just dead. But what if you succeed in the crit? You get full clear. Full clear. And obviously, if you're dead, speak with GM. And, you know, get it all teed away for next time. If you choose to avoid death, you might take a scar. If you do so, permanently cross out one of your hope slots. You cannot use the slots to restore hope anymore. The narrative impact of the scar is up to you. For example, you might now bear a physical scar, a painful memory, or a deep fear. When you put a scar on your last hope slot, this is the time to end your character's journey. Work with GM to find a graceful and fitting way for the party to goodbye to them at the end of the session and prepare a new character for next time you play. You've taken too much hurt, you can't go on any further, you have to stop. So there is a limit. Resurrection. It is possible to resurrect a dead character, though it will likely be a long and difficult, costly process, and they likely won't return the same as they died. If party decides to take the path upon the character's death, the GM will tell the players what it will take to make this happen. For detail on this, see the section for resurrection, the GM section page. Section pending. There's also a one-time resurrection spell available, level 10, for any class that includes the Splendor domain. Once the spell is used, it will go to your vault permanently. So there is ways of coming back, but it's not as easy as 5e. 5e is very easy. Okay. Leveling up, from what I can tell, is very modular. You pick your benefits. But these are the ones that you get for these specific levels. Choosing your advancements, raising your thresholds, taking more domain cards, and you can multi-class at level 5. And then... okay, so you do get... yeah, so you just get the features. You just don't get the extra stuff. Okay. Running a campaign. Anything in there of note? Okay, going to where are we? I intend to do a whole thing at world building, by the way. So, stay tuned for that one. Since that will go into a lot of this. Yeah, my word there. Backstories, yeah, it's all the standard. Yeah, okay, fairly standard stuff. Alright, I'm going to go over a lot of this in the video, so I'm not going to go over it here. I might be brushing over some of this stuff, but I've looked over a lot of the stuff I want to look over and have a lot to say about. The rest I can look over, maybe off stream probably. Also, because I can feel my throat getting worse, so I don't want to push it. Common adversary moves. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so a lot of different tiers and types. Interesting. So they've actually got various traits and also things they'll do. Interesting. Okay. Glass snake. That sounds cool. Interesting. Okay, so we've got various things. These are level 0. Well, it's here 0. Level 1 stuff. The variants of all of them. Interesting. Okay. Up to... so those are pretty, like, standard stuff, right? Mercenaries, guards, zombies. Alright, yeah, pretty standard stuff. How about level 2 to 4? Battle box. Okay. This sounds like... yeah, it sounds a bit like a Merc. So assassins. Varying degrees of strength there. Okay, giant eagle, juvenile. Mortal Hunter. What's this about? Okay. Failed experiment, Gorgon. Okay. Okay, so it looks like Medusa. Okay, yeah. Nice. It's a cat burglar, but Qatari burglar. Nice, okay. How about later on? What we got? Elementals. Flicker fly, whatever that means. Big old nasty. Use Hydra's vampires. Diabat. Vampire leader, okay. And this one's looking dragons. The young ice dragon. Vault guardians. Stag Knight. Nice. Okay. And level 8 to 10 is when we get some big stuff. So this is like Arch Necromancer. Affected Zombie. Interesting. Zombie Legions, like Horde, I assume. Fallen Host. Hallowed Forces. Oracle of Doom. Alright. Volcanic Dragon. Okay. So. Interesting. So we've got a bit of variety there. Some different enemy tiers and what kind of things are on there. Don't experience moves above. It's out to make a successful attack above. Okay. And here's like, I think this is actually the detailed bits for each one. Yeah, so we've got a fair amount there for. Okay, let's look at tier 2. Difficult 15. That's 5. Okay. Nice. Okay, so you got some options there to spend. So I mentioned the spending fear. There's some nasty shit you can do with these. Alright, let's look at a big boy. Where's that volcanic dragon? Volcanic dragon. Ashen Tyrant. Solo. Okay. So out of 7. Claws and teeth. Close. Does an absolute fuck ton of damage. Difficulty 20. Yeah, no shit. That's so 10 damage to even hurt it. Has 7 HP. So you can hurt it like a lot. And yeah, you're gonna have a hard time severing it. It's got 5 stress. Spirit military scholar. Let's see. Relentless, free, that actually makes can actually 4 times in the GM's move. Still takes 4 tokens. Injured wings, attack against the creature while it's flying are small difficulty. Fiery death, whenever a target within close range volcanic dragon goes out of with fear or they lose hope if they can't mark a hit point. Oh, they lose hope. Okay. That feels like it's misnamed trait there. Desperate Rampage. Mark stress to make an attack roll against all opponents in close range. Any target with attack marks stress is knocked down to close range. So that's just flailing. Ashen Clouds. Spend a fear to smash the ground. Kick up ash everywhere within range. Far range. Range attacks through this area have disadvantage. Any creature taking any action with this ash cloud adds 2 tokens to the action tracker, which you can then use as a DM. Apocalyptic Thrashing. countdown. Okay. Loops 2d6 decreasing. Okay. Spend fear to activate. This tracks down every time. It ticks down every time a token is placed on the activate tracker. When triggered, Ashen Tyrant thrashes about a far area. Causing environmental damage, earthquake, avalanche, and collapse symbols, etc. All targets within far range must make a reaction roll with strength 22 or suffer 3d20 physical damage and become restrained and vulnerable due to being buried in rubble. That is a lot of damage, and 3d20 physical, so you could do 60 damage to someone. Like, this thing's doing a lot of damage, so no one, like, you obviously your character's gonna be pretty yoked by the time you're fighting something like this, but holy fuck, this is not a fucking easy fight. But still, it's good to see there's some big meaty things in here. So there is the domain decks. Have a quick look at these. These are the level you need to be to use them, and this is the cost to draw it out. You get like so many of these. I think it's 5 or something that you can have, if I remember rightly. And these are all from the Arcana discipline. So this is where it kind of looks a little bit like 4th edition, in the sense that you take this action, and it looks like they all have the same amount of actions here. I'm not going to go too deep into all these, but you've got a nice variety of actions, depending on what type of, domain you're going into. Like Banish here, for example. Yeah, so you've got the same amount for each. Whether they've all got the same for level is a different question, but yes, check copycat. Okay. Nice to have different pictures for them, but nice to have got different stuff. So that's kind of cool. And this is like rogues can, like some of the rogue can do. So you actually got a bit of like there's a very high fantasy setting, so it makes sense that you can do a lot of magic. The artwork for this is also quite nice. Well, I want to see more, like, more stuff. By the way, if there's any you see that you think you'll have a further look at, just let me know. But there's a lot of just really nice artwork here, and some of these abilities I'm looking at here are pretty good. I saw Smite, Zone of Protection, nice. We'll end on the Valor. Yeah, there's... Okay. I like all these cards. These are all pretty good. Okay. So what we have here is a nice variety of abilities, and you get 2 of these. You always get 2. So you can pull from a variety here. So honestly, I'm pretty happy with a lot of the stuff. There's bits and bobs I must admit I find a bit questionable, but nothing I think is terrible. So far I'm quite happy with what's here, and I hope that they continue to, etch this out. Did they have multiple different pictures of Blade? No, they didn't. Thought they might have. So I'm hopeful that they might make more cards as well, more like options for you as they go on. If they, as and when they release this. But yeah, overall, I'm quite happy with the system. I'd obviously have to give it a go. I think this is one where I don't know if I like it yet. As much as I'm giving it good praise, I don't know if my group will like it, I don't know if I like it. So I need to figure that out first. But when I do, or should I do, I will give you a bit of a review on that one if we do get around to ever playing it. We're currently doing D&D campaigns, so I've not got the time, but never know. That is probably going to be the end of what I'll say for this one. We've been going for about 2 hours. I feel like that 5 hours in total is enough to go over a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about with this. I may do another one like this at some point. Perhaps Lancer, perhaps D&D 4th edition, perhaps we just talk about 5e. We'll see. I'm hoping this weekend I can sort out that world building video, or at least make a good start on it. I've got some notes now, but I need to make more of a crack at it, so if I'm feeling up to it, I will do that. It is in the works though, so do stay tuned for that. And I will go over a lot of stuff to do with that. And that's just generic world building for any system. This is stuff that will be applicable, so I will go over that sort of thing. I sort of skipped over it here today, but I might come back and look at what they reckon. Because, to be fair, if there's one person who's world building, it's old Matt Muercer, so I definitely take his word when it comes to world building. Man knows what he's doing with it. Hell, they made a whole series for a reason, you know? Legend of Vox Machina is a series. A paid-for series. For a damn reason. And a pretty good one at that. So, that being said, I think that is where we'll end it off for today. Next week might just be a just chatting stream. I might play a game, but I'm feeling like I want to just chat. I like these streams where I can just blow off steam and talk. I might rant to you about Warhammer or something as well, I don't know. Maybe I might also try and paint. If I can get the camera set up, maybe I'll have like a little paint stream perhaps. I'd like to do that, honestly. I want to figure out how to do a paint stream properly. I see a lot of YouTubers do it. I don't know how to do it myself, so I might look for some advice now to do that. Because I've had a hard time finding advice for that, so I'll have a look. But anyway, I have dragged this out long enough. It has been a wonderful 2 hours. Thank you very much to everyone who's dropped in. It's very nice of you to say hello, or just to be here in general. Thank you very much. Now, with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow as me and JD Moss will be continuing our Dawn of War series. The VOD for this should be up shortly for anyone who has missed it. Yeah, that'll be the end for now of our little journey through Matt Muercer's system. That's not to say we won't ever go through it again if there's any major changes, or perhaps I ever run a game of it. Perhaps we'll stream it, depending on how my players feel. Yeah, till then, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening, a good day, good night, wherever you are right now. Have a good one. I will see you tomorrow for some more of the glorious Dawn of War. Ta-ta for now.